Hey, I'm here with a list of demands. Follow the show wherever you listen. Subscribe, share, like, and comment on the show on YouTube. Follow any and all of my social media as well. All of the links are in the description. And finally, if you're a real fan, which most of you aren't, head on over to buymeacoffee.com, use the link in my description, and buy me a goddamn coffee. It supports the show, which is me. So you're supporting me. Now that you've successfully ignored that, go ahead and enjoy today's episode. Good evening, everybody. If you're not watching the show, you just missed me do something pretty cool. I can describe it to you, but it's not nearly as cool. I just lit my blunt with a candle because it is Halloween. It's midnight on Halloween for you. I figured, fuck it. Let's get some ghouls and ghosts out in the night. Even though people might still be out. I would think people will be out. It's Sunday, it's Halloween weekend, Sunday into Monday, whatever. People are out. And if you're not badgering your Uber driver that's taking you home in the drunken stupor that you're in to put this on, then you're just a fool. Yes, it's Halloween, finally. And I had a pretty eventful weekend, I guess, as most of you have. I'm at the end of it now. Halloween, I don't know what I'm gonna actually do for the day. I'm also happy that we're smoking reefer on the show. Haven't done that in a little while. We're not gonna do too much of it because I do live in a box, and I don't want my all my really expensive clothes to smell like reefer. So we're gonna put it out. But I am happy that we were able to smoke a little reefer on the show. Because as you know, that hasn't been, it's gone away a little bit. Gone away since moving here and doing the show alone, yada, yada, yada. But who gives a fuck? It's Halloween, bitches. It's Halloween. Finally, the day that everybody has been waiting for. That's why we got the blue hue. That's why I got the hat. I'm dressed as a fucking army man. You can see the pants. You can't because obviously you can't. But that's why I got a tank top on at the end of October. Also because I'm sitting in my house. As far as Halloween goes, I have always said that it's one of my favorite holidays. I, of course, like to make fun of it. But it really is. It's one of those times where you release all inhibitions and you have no problem acting like a child. You don't, right? Because that's the whole holiday. The whole holiday is just acting like a child, whether you're in a couple and you're, doing a matching thing or one that complements the other, like the old plug in the socket, right? That's an old one. I don't know if people even do that one. Tweedledee and Tweedle fucking dumb, whatever, right? You do that and you go out, you have a party, or you have a party at your house, you go out to a party, you go to a club, and everyone's doing the same thing, acting like kids, and it's great. It's great. You could be 45. You could be 45 years old, and you've lived a life that is pretty much devoid of any childlike curiosity or enthusiasm about anything until the 35th of October. 35th. Oh, my God. You can tell I cut back on the reefer. The 31st of October rolls around, and now it's time to go bananas. It's time to go ahead and do everything that you did as a kid. It's one of the holidays that doesn't really change much as you get older. As you get older, Thanksgiving changes, right? Now you're at the adult table, and it's not you running around with your cousins outside anymore throwing the ball. Sometimes you do, if you got athletic family members. But If not, you're just like all the old guys, all the old people that when you were a kid, you were like, oh, God, how come they just eat and fall asleep? Oh, you don't even think about it. You wouldn't even think about it. You're at the kids' table, you're acting a fool, your parents are on the other side of the room, and you go ahead and you get hopped up on the sugary drinks and the whatever, and you go outside, you run around with your cousins or your siblings, and you do all that. Sometimes your uncle comes outside and he fucks around with you. He's drunk and maybe he punts the football over the fence and ruins your whole time. But fuck it, he gets a laugh out of it. And somebody's window gets broken, and your dad's the one who has to pay for it because he lives next door and he knows his brother's a bit of a fuck up. And he wishes that he would have just stayed in the house because he does this every year. He breaks the neighbor's window every year because he goes out and he says, "Well, when I was in high school, I had a hell of a leg, so we're gonna go ahead and fuck these kids up." And the kids don't learn; they're dumb. They always pass the ball to their uncle, even though they know that he's gonna kick the fucking thing over the fence. But that changes, right? That changes. You get older, right? You don't want to fucking play football. Some families are weird. Some families they have like football games as a whole. I remember whatever that Dane Cook movie was. I forgot what it was. Dane Cook and Ben Stiller. One of you guys remind me of what it is. They rent a house out in somewhere in New England. I remember the movie taking place in New England. They had a shot of the Newport Bridge and everything, and they rent this big house out, and everybody's outside and whatever. And some people do that. The cousins stay in shape, or relatively they're able to play. And if not, the old people are outside laughing. Oh, yeah, there you go, Johnny, run, yeah, just whatever. That's what they do. But that's not always common. It's not always common. I mean, maybe it's more common than I think because that's as far in the other direction of what my family does on Thanksgiving. Very far. We just quietly sit around a table exchanging similar stories that we had last year or the last time we spoke to you or whatever. And, you fucking, you eat, and then you got football on, and everybody falls asleep. Every person just falls asleep. I remember Caroline, she came over for Thanksgiving or one of these days, Christmas Eve, and we do the same thing on either day. And, we all ate, and we just unconsciously all fell asleep. My grandmother, my dad, me, my mom. It was only Caroline and my brother were awake. We all just knocked the fuck out. And I thinking back on it, I feel bad for having her sit through that shit, Her family plays games, and they do all this stuff, but even them, they don't go fucking crazy, right, with 30 people at the house and 12 turkeys and everyone's outside and whatever. And that's nice. That's cool. But for the most part, it changes, right? It changes as you get older. Christmas, the biggest one. Absolutely the biggest one that changes because now you have to buy gifts. Even if you don't have kids, you got other people in your family. Now you have to be the one buying the gifts. So that one, absolutely gone. New Year's, that one changes big time because New Year's is just a big party. It's just a huge party. And you as a kid, well, maybe not. Maybe it is the same. Because you as a kid, maybe you were at a family party. Maybe your parents went out and they had to go. But I think that's where I was kind of thinking. Because when I was a kid, I remember New Year's, I would be at my grandmother's house. I'd stay up and watch the ball, and I'd be with my grandmother, and we'd drink that fucking sparkling cider and pretend it's champagne and whatever. But my parents, they would go out, right? And that's when I was a real little kid. So in that sense, yeah, it changes. But some people, they just have a party, and the only thing that changes are the substances. That's the only thing that changes. When you're a kid, you run around, you eat fucking Chinese food. The same thing kids do at every fucking party. And it's not really that different when you get older, right? You get older, you still eat Chinese food, but you get hammered, you get fucked up as a last hurrah. And then, there's Halloween. Halloween is one that doesn't really change. It doesn't really change. You still get dressed. You still get dressed up. There's no real crazy expectations. I mean, when you were a kid, you wanted to go trick-or-treating. But it is a holiday without expectations. Tom DiAgostino told me that. He was on the podcast Paranormal Investigator. Look it up 2 years ago. It was on Thanksgiving. And he had a good point that Halloween is one of those holidays where there's no real expectation, especially when you get older. But for the most part, as an adult, you do the same shit. You want to eat candy, right? You get dressed up. You want to eat candy. You want to go to a party, a Halloween party. Now you might be the one putting it together or whatever. It doesn't matter. Even when you're a kid, you put that shit together. But those components right there, it's one of the holidays where everybody dresses up. You go out and you're happy if someone has candy. If you're at a party, they usually have candy. At work, everyone's bringing in candy. And it's the same shit that you did when you were a kid, and you have no problem doing it. No problem. It's one of the only ones. And it gives people an out. It gives people who have devoided their entire life from having childlike experiences at all. They don't explore. They don't leave the town. They're not curious about anything. They're not enthusiastic about anything like a child would be. Nothing stimulates them the way that just the world would stimulate a child. People are beaten down. They're done with all that shit. So they completely devoid out of their mind because there's other things now that you have to worry about. When you're a kid, there was nothing to worry about, so you had plenty of time to be curious. People think that when they get older, there's no room for learning new things. There's no room for going to different places. It's just we work, we take care of our shit. There's other things, there's responsibilities now you got to focus on. And that's what it is. But people get incredibly far from that wonder, that childlike wonder that people forget about or are consistently chasing, but not in a way that would bring that out of them, such as picking up a new hobby or, going for a walk somewhere that you never walk. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't do that. They just complain. Right? They say, man, when I was a kid, I tell you, we used to ride our bicycles all up and down everywhere, all the time. It was the greatest time of my life. Well, so I mean, you're 40 years old. You could ride your bicycle. No. I got time to ride a bicycle. What do you mean? What do you mean? You want me to ride a bicycle around? I'm a grown man. What am I gonna go to karate class after? Go fuck yourself. People don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear it. They just want to talk about the old, back when I was young. Back when I was young. Not on Thanksgiving. Not on Halloween, though. Not on Halloween. When Halloween comes around, people are young again. Old people get dressed up for Halloween. People who have fucking great-grandchildren get dressed up for Halloween. They decorate the house. They fucking, you know what I'm saying? Jack-o'-lanterns. It's just, that's what it is. And I think that's why it's one of my favorite holidays. Because I've really adopted this kind of, idea that people should do the things that they enjoyed when they were a kid. Seriously, whatever it was when you were a kid that, you enjoyed, made you happy, whatever, jumping rope or fucking painting, whatever. The thing that you just stopped doing it, it fucking, people lose it. They lose it and they get really far away. But again, Halloween, no different. No different now than when you were a fucking child. Just the substances. Ha 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 ha. But my weekend was all right. I hope you guys had a fun weekend. It is Halloween, so it's a Monday, but there is stuff going on. I know there's people taking out their little annoying children to walk around and knock on doors. Isn't that like a weird... That's one thing that definitely changes. I know you guys are like, Antonio, what about trick-or-treating? You can't trick-or-treat past a certain age. I mean, you can, right? You can. It's just frowned upon. Just pull up with a big beard, or tie the beard up, get it out of the way, and just, do your best to look like a fucking kid. Be autistic. Just go ahead and tiz it up. Tiz it up for everybody. You know what I'm saying? People ask, hey, how old are you? Oh, I'm autistic. And just ask for the candy and get the fuck on. You know, who gives a fuck? You're wearing a mask anyway, right? Just stuff your body, make yourself look fat or chubby or whatever, and or put yourself in a wheelchair. What about that? No one's going to turn away a handicapped person more often than not, you know, as long as they're dressed up. If you sit around in a thing and you know, whatever, or even better, have someone push you around in it. Have your mother push you around in your costume while you're sitting in a wheelchair at 38 years old, just trying to get some free candy. Do that. Pay your mother some money. She'll do it. You know, she's your mom. She'll push you around. She'll push you up to the thing. You don't even say nothing. You know, she speaks for you. He's a mute. He was never really, he never spoke much. He said a couple words in his life, and this is just something he wants to do. He's still a child at heart. He never developed the way everyone else did. It's actually not that he's a mute. His brain is actually stuck at the infancy age. So he doesn't know sounds. It's rare. It's very rare that he can even utter something. Sometimes he goes, ugh, and I go, oh, that's he needs water. Just get him some water. But rarely he does that. And you'll be fine. You'll be okay, and you'll get candy. You could still do that. But most people don't want to go to that extreme. They say, fuck it, I'll just buy the candy. People aren't as devoted to the life as this person that I'm describing. I don't know if I would do that. I probably wouldn't. But some of you would. Why not? It's a completely foolproof idea. There's nobody that's going to fuck with you. And then you get back at the house and you giggle with your mother and smoke cigarettes and you say, we got those motherfuckers, didn't we? And you sit across from each other and you eat candy all night until you fucking die. That sounds like a good Halloween to me. You and your mom, you got a good scam on people, and you just go into a coma from the sugar you've ingested. And that's good. That's good. That's a good Halloween in my book. But trick-or-treating, what a weird fucking concept. Like, who came? I almost want to look up who came up with that shit. I think it was it was probably something else, right? It was probably something dumb. I always heard the story of Halloween. I never fact-checked this either. Go ahead and do it for me if you want. It sounds cool that the idea of Halloween was to scare out the evil spirits. Everybody gets dressed up, and they try their best to scare out the evil spirits, that idea has really devolved because unless there's some very flagrant homosexual ghosts in the area, I'm not sure that the slutty mouse is going to be scaring anybody. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure that the undead police officer with red handprints on her ass cheeks, is going to really scare any ghosts unless they're, very, very, they were very homosexual, they were very gay when they were alive. Then they might run off. But anyway, I always thought that that's what it was. So maybe there was some shit about going to people's houses and either you gave them something or they gave you something, and then now that has devolved into a, just like all the other holidays, a time to spend money, a time to, get everyone going and whatever. I've said that shit a million times. That's not what I'm talking about right now. But very strange that everyone co-signed on the idea of going up to random people's houses, asking them through some code that is only ever said on Halloween, and getting candy. I mean, it almost makes sense that children were eating razor blades, right? You'd think that was like more of a thing, right? It's not really a thing anymore. They put the Fent in it, they put a little Fent, just a little bit, right? It doesn't even need to be in it. They just put it near. Right? All it takes is that it touches. You touch a little bit and you die, especially if you're a kid. And I'm not saying that that's what they're doing, but they are. And what do you expect from a ritual like this? We're all just, and it's families. You take your kids, you're excited. Oh, it's their first Halloween where they'll be able to walk and get their own candy, and you co-sign it completely. Boatloads of people, vans full, dropping off in suburbs, people with strategic plans on how much, kids getting together and planning. We're going to hit this street, that street, we're going to go here, going to go there. And we've just co-signed it. It's fine. Go ahead. Run around and fucking knock on doors. Do it alone. Do it with your parents. The parents are watching at the end of the driveway. Wave, yeah, isn't he cute? Yeah, he's a dragon. Oh, my goodness. And you're just, candy. And then on the other end, to be a fucking person that just willingly just welcomes children up to the door with candy. On any other day, that is an offense that is worth getting beaten up over, right? If you and your kids were walking down the street, right? You, your wife, your 2 kids that walk in, right? We'll say 7 and 10. Okay, and they're walking next to you. You guys are walking. It's a nice evening. And some guy opens his door with a bowl of Tootsie Rolls and says, come on, send the kids up. We got Tootsie Rolls. Come on. I might have some Reese's Pieces in here somewhere. Send the kids up. Tootsie Rolls and Reese's Pieces. I mean, you're either walking away like kind of shocked, like in a weird, kind of like, what is that? Like maybe a little disturbed. Who the fuck is that guy? We live right down the street from that guy. Oh my God, what is this? Or you go and you beat that guy's ass on his own property and you walk away and face no repercussion because people will vouch that guy's a fucking creep. People in the neighborhood will be like, yeah, he's done that to my kid. That's not. And on Halloween is a day where we just accept. Yeah, sure. Go ahead, walk up there. You got a costume on. You got a nice little costume on. That shouldn't make it any weirder. You don't think a pedophile is sitting in his house all the time thinking about a child walking up in a tight little costume? You know what I'm saying? Fucked up, right? It's a fucked up thought. But you don't think that he could just open the door with a bowl full of candy and say, hey, here you go. I mean, it is a strange ritual. I mean, at least the other ones, right? It's you're getting together, people are exchanging gifts. That's always been a commonality when it came to celebration. You bring gifts, you go to someone's house, everyone's eating together, sitting at the table, drinking wine, exchanging harangues, and just going back and forth, and that's what it is, right? And then there's stupid little things like I mentioned before, but Halloween is one that is so unique it's so interesting to me. You never really think about it until you get older, but it's like, I would never open my door and allow children to just walk up and ring my doorbell all night. I would never do that. I mean, I wouldn't do that now. There's no reason for a single guy. I mean, I live in an apartment, but if I was living in a house, you remember when you were a kid and you'd go to a place and it was just one guy? Hey, what are we this year? Yeah, nice. There's nobody else in the house. There's no wife. The TV's not even on. The guy's sitting by the door waiting. Ding dong. Yeah, what's happening? There's like a blue light in the background. It's strange. It's just weird. So I would have no reason to do that. And if you are a single guy that does that, then you're probably the other guy I was talking about, the one that would, that's got the Tootsie Rolls and the Reese's Pieces. You're probably that guy as well. But it's like, I would never do that. Even when I was living with my family, like, there'd be no reason to ever do that. Just allow kids to come up and ring the bell. But because on this day, everyone's wearing it, it's just funny. It's just interesting to me. But But this past weekend, again, I mean, I guess I'll never get this fucking story out to you guys. It wasn't the craziest weekend. I mean, it was annoying in the sense that everything is annoying to me. But Friday, I went out here in New London, and it was just as dead as you'd fucking think. It was garbage. It was, I mean, there was stuff going on, but I'm out here alone. I ain't got nobody to vibe off of. I'm not that guy who can just walk into a place and start talking to people. Yeah, you do. Yeah, what? Yeah. I'm the exact opposite. I got to come with some people, and then we all feel loose together. We can vibe off each other. Yeah, whoa, and it's a thing. It's a thing. It's way easier, and I'm sure all you people can vouch. But I did want to go out, whatever, and I regretted it. I didn't even dress up. But I did drink. I did a lot of drinking this weekend. And then on Saturday was the night that I went out. I got out of work, worked a, 8-hour shift or something, made fucking trash money, as I do. And I was like, you know what, fuck it. I got to do something, right? This Halloween, it pulled me. Everything else is, I could give a fuck. But Halloween, for whatever reason, was like, yeah, let's do it. So I drove down to Providence after work. Hour ride. The whole time was like, I don't feel like doing this, whatever. But I got there and we went to 2 different clubs, drank tequila all night. One guy at one of the clubs recognized me from a show I did last Thursday at the Revival Brewery in Providence. I was telling you guys the wrong place, and I went to the wrong place too. I went to Foolproof Brewery in Pawtucket. But what was I getting at? Oh, yeah. I was dressed in this pretty much same outfit, except I had a T-shirt on, which was also a bad idea. At least with this, I could show my fucking guns out. Look at that. My arms look great right now. I don't know why. I'm really a fat fuck. I have a big fat tummy. But a kid knew me, and he gave me some cheap drinks, and that was nice. And, you see sloppy women falling over, dressed up. Like, it's a shit show. And a fun one to watch. But, and it's annoying, right? Because you're in a club which is already fucking mobbed, and anybody can get in with anything that they're wearing. This one kid, I wanted to beat him to death. He had a fucking, he was supposed to be a giraffe, and this kid built his costume. His body was, like, pretty much normal, right? He might have had, like, some brown pants with spots on it that looked like a giraffe. I don't know. Maybe he had. I couldn't really see, right? By this point, I'm very drunk, and I'm not looking at the ground, really. So I see this kid, and he's fucking standing there dancing, and I'm like, look at this big fucking head that's in the air. It's the giraffe head, and I get up closer to it, and he's got on like this backpack with a whole. It looks like a piece of a stretcher on his back, and with this long pipe, these pipes sticking out of the back of it with a pulley system and all this shit, and he's got it strapped on like a backpack, and it's sticking up past his head, and then on top of it is with the giraffe head, and the giraffe head doesn't even look good. It's made out of like fucking cardboard or something, and this kid put all this time and effort into this fucking costume, and it was just a big fucking nuisance. Like, it's just in the way. Or there's people dressed up as the Ghostbusters, and they got a fucking inflatable backpack on, walking around bumping you, banging you. Even worse than that are the ladies who wear the wings on their back. They're an angel or a devil or a fucking a black angel, a dark, whatever you want to call it. They got wings on, and they're fucking banging you in the head and the ear. You can't move. It's annoying. That's the annoying part. That's very annoying because the club's already mobbed. But yeah, we went to the second spot, and that's where we rode it out. And it was just, it was just getting drunk in a club. There's no fucking different thing except everybody's dressed in costumes, and, women are wearing a little less than usual, willingly. People are, there's costume contests, so everyone rushes up to the stage, and everybody's wearing the same thing. I have the best. I'm the best angel here. Look at me, I'm a mummy. It's all the same shit. Everyone's dressed. I think Men in Black won yesterday. Like, what the fuck is that? Men in Black, you put on a suit, a fucking white shirt, a tie with fucking glasses on. You win. You win. You win that? Are you a fucking fool? I guess so. I mean, I guess they're the smart ones. They didn't have to do dick in terms of preparation. But, and that was it. It was just drinking and stupidity. And I slept at my buddy Rob's house. And I got up at, I probably fell asleep at 4 a.m., got up at 9 and drove back to Mohegan Sun, get to work, and was there for another 8 or 9 hours. And now I'm here talking to you motherfuckers. I really wanted to do this podcast in the dark. I wanted to do the podcast in the dark, but because this table is so low, I had a bunch of candles lit, and you just couldn't see me. And my camera sucks. My camera's dog shit. But, hey, who gives a fuck? We're here. We're doing this motherfucker, and it's Halloween. It's Halloween. It's Halloween in South Korea. Did you guys see what happened there? Ooh, boy, did they have a... Interesting. I mean, over here, we trick-or-treat. Over there, they stampede each other. There was a big parade. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, there was a big parade for the first time since COVID-19. Since the pandemic. First time. And people got a little excited, right? Halloween, big day, act like a kid, right? Everybody wants to act like a kid. And what do you do when you're a kid when you're excited? You run. You run around. That's what you do when you're a kid. When you're excited and you don't know what to do, you just, and you run, and you don't think about anything else. You don't think about the hundreds of people that you're stomping on. You don't think about the lives that will be lost because you're running. You just run. There's not a thought. You look at a kid when they're running, their eyes, they're just, there's nothing in the world matters except for what they're doing right now because they're so fucking excited. That's what it was in South Korea. These people hadn't had Halloween the way that they have been accustomed to for a while. This is the first time since fucking the pandemic, since the lockdown. That's 2 years, guys, at least. That's 2 years. Pent up Halloween fun. And big parade happens. You remember the parade? Wow, what a parade. I would love a Halloween parade. That would be great. A Halloween parade would be a lot of fun. You know, there's all booths and there's a bunch of different floats. I mean, the floats would be insane, right? If everyone's wearing crazy costumes, big contests. And then you finish it with a big stampede that injures hundreds of people and kills 100 more. And fireworks at the end. Everyone is cool with fireworks, especially if they're at the end. If they're at the end of something, you can't start something with fireworks. You can, right? You can to get everyone riled up if the thing after it is just as good, right? Stampede, tough. Parade, very tough to do fireworks at the beginning. Because as cool as a Halloween parade / stampede would be, it is a parade at the end of the day. It's a parade, and it's just like any other one. You sit, you watch floats, you go to other things, but it's not like a football game, right? You go to a football game, people are singing, there's music playing, the crowd's ready to go, and introducing your New England Patriots, boom, 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 yeah. Or it's Monday Night Football, and they're shooting, it's Dallas, and they're shooting the fucking, whatever, the Super Bowl, right? That's where you start off with fireworks. Halloween parade, stampede, you got to do it at the end. You got to do it at the end, around and right out. Just like the 4th of July. 4th of July, big parade. Everyone meets at a big local park. Vendors, eating, fun, rides maybe. Fireworks at the end. Everyone gets on the tarmac, watches the fireworks. Same thing. You lay down with your fallen brethren that were too slow. They were too slow in the stampede. This was a tragedy that happened. Very bad. But I think there's something there. Right? I think it should be planned. It should be incorporated. Think about the stampedes that would ensue in these rich white neighborhoods. Think about how good that would be. Just some stampedes of a bunch. Just start encouraging the act of trampling on others, pushing people over, pandemonium. Pandemonium should be an everyday emotion that people should feel, just to feel that you're alive. There should be intense pandemonium, just like exercise. Everyone says an hour of exercise a day, 30-minute walk is good for you a day. There's always these little metrics, right? People forget pandemonium and chaos. You need a little of that. If you don't live somewhere where it already exists, right? New York City, hustle and bustle. There's some of that every day. Some of that worry. You might be late. There's this. But you need it. You need it. Some people live too comfortable. They want to go to the fair. Let's go to the fair. Hey, there's the fair down in the square. Let's go to the fair in the square. And you go, and everything's good. But think about if a Budweiser truck just drove through the ring toss, right? Drove through the ring toss, goes right into the basketball fucking shooting contest, and crashes into the Ferris wheel. And the Ferris wheel just doesn't topple. It doesn't topple, right? Even though the Budweiser truck is big and heavy and it was going fairly fast because the guy was overworked and sleeping. It just wiggles. It wiggles, and everybody, oh, and you're on the Ferris wheel. There you go. A little bit of pandemonium, a little bit of panic, a little bit of chaos. You look down, oh, God, oh, and it wobbles. It wobbles the whole Ferris wheel, and you're like, it's the shock of the moment is like, what? A Ferris wheel this is massive. Why is this Ferris wheel wobbling side to side? But luckily, the guy hit it straight on. If he hit it on the side, right, if he hit the front facing of the Ferris wheel, it would probably topple over. But luckily, he hit the thin, right, the side of it, and it just wobbled. But in that moment, you look down, and you're like, whoa. He just fucking ran through a bunch of people. People are fucked up, and they're, but it's good for you. It's good for you. It shows you. It shows you that there's a lot of possibilities. And if you're not on your shit and you're sitting on a Ferris wheel at a fucking fair, some shit could go down. It could go down. Now, I'm not comparing something like that to a horrendous stampede, right? A horrendous trampling of innocent people. I'm just saying that it could be good to add a little bit of that. Just a little bit. I'm a small, sign up for the stampede. How about that? You will, and people watch. People watch. There'll be an event, maybe some betting, or for charity. Do it for charity. Raise some money for charity. There is a trampling event. If you want tickets, $2 a ticket. People will show up. I'm telling you, on Halloween parade, followed by a public trampling in the park, finished off with fireworks. Come on. In the right town, in the right place, people are dedicated. Salem. Pick this up. Salem is a Halloween destination, especially in New England. People know all about Salem. The witches, the whole fucking nine. So come on. Hundreds of years ago, you were burning women for doing math. Okay? You were burning and boiling women in front of their families and in front of their colleagues, the whole town pretty much. You were doing that to them. And it was because they were dancing. They were dancing, right? So now, I mean, what's a little stamp? What's a little trample? What's a little trample? You get 40, 50 people, right? Doesn't need to be a lot. It's not even, who's going to die? Barely, someone might get hurt, but, right? And you lock them in a room or a big, cage. I'm thinking like a batting cage. You ever go to a batting cage? It's like a long, it's like a corridor. And you lock that fucking thing. And, I don't know, you shoot them with rubber bullets or something, and they run. They run back and forth. And you shoot them. You shoot them through the chain link fence with the rubber bullets, and they run, and they, people get trampled. I don't know. Maybe you sign people up to be the trampled, and then there's others who are the tramplers. Maybe depending on what you donate when you sign up, if you donate more, you get to be the trampler. But it's a high barrier to entry, right? It's going to be $300 if you want to be a trampler. You got to donate at least $300. But the people getting trampled, a little cheaper. Whatever you can throw together. Whatever you can throw, there's no requirement. But if you really care about this particular charity, then you'll do it. You'll do it. Then we'll see who really. It'll be for the church. How about that? We'll do it for the church. It'll be a charity, and we'll see how many people are actually devoted to their cause. Right? We'll see, and we'll see how many people will sign up to be. Realistically, either we're going to find out that people really care for the cause and they'll donate over $300, or we'll find out how many people are real as fuck and want to see the pastor riding in a Benz, okay, because that's what you owe him. That's what you owe him. That's what you owe him, whether you like it or not. He deserves to be riding in the newest Mercedes there is. He does, with the flyest, cleanest shoes, pressed outfit, whole nine, ready to go. Okay, that's what you owe him. And if you can't afford to do 300, not to mention the Lord, right? You love the Lord. Do you love the Lord? Will you get trampled for the Lord? Will you? Will you get trampled for the Lord, or are you gonna boss up and do the trampling, spend a little change, and make sure your priest got the gold on? That's what I'm saying. It's obviously terrible, right? Terrible. But again, this is what happens when you take something from people. You take something from people, something near and dear, like a tradition, like a holiday, a big holiday, Halloween, big holiday. A lot of feelings tied to the holiday, big time. God forbid they take away Christmas. I don't know if they celebrate Christmas in South Korea. They celebrate it everywhere. But God forbid they do that. What about the Christmas we haven't, you see, this is other countries. They are so absolutely passionate about things. A little while ago, a few episodes ago, probably a lot, really, I was talking about how the Indonesian soccer team, right, the one that, or the soccer fans, rather, that went ape shit and started killing people because their team lost. They took being a fanatic and being a fan to the next level. These other countries, they know what to do when they want to show how passionate they are about things. And this is another example of that. People were very, very passionate, very, very excited for the show, for the festivities, and they showed it. That's just what it is, guys. They showed it. They know how to. They beat us. These other countries beat us when it comes to passion and enthusiasm, right? They still got that childlike feeling, man. They really do. They still have that glimmer in their eye. You can look at it as a bad thing, and it is a bad thing. Okay? It's bad. Very not good. But it is what the fuck it is. They went ahead, and it was like they were in, Mrs. Johnson's class. I know there's a lot of Johnsons in South Korea, but I didn't want to make up a name and Kanye West myself here. They, they were sitting there in that third grade class, and everyone came in their costumes, and they knew that at night they were going to go out and do trick-or-treating and whatever their equivalent is in their country. They were feeling that day. It was big time. It's crazy. Halloween, baby. Halloween, we're here. I don't know if I talked about the newest Halloween movie. But it was good. It was good. I mean, what can you expect from a series that was so dragged out like that? I thought it was good. Everyone's shitting on me because I thought it was good. I thought it was good because they added like a different dynamic. It wasn't just Mike running around killing and scaring everybody, and then all of them fucking him up bad and him just getting up and walking, It was some different dynamics, different characters, and the whole thing. I know they have different characters every time, but it's just people who get killed by him. That's pretty much what it is. People get killed by him, or, like Lenny Clark was in the last one, and he got fucking murdered, him and the wife. And it was, that's what it is. But this one was good. There was a kid who fucking snaps, and I'll say, I don't want to say too much. I do like Halloween movies. When it comes to holiday-themed movies, let me think. I think that one wins, right? I think that one wins because it's the biggest spread. Like, you can watch horror movies on Halloween, or you can watch Halloween movies on Halloween, right? Like, there's movies about, and a lot of the Halloween movies kind of suck, right? But horror movies that take place on Halloween, always fun, but they suck, right? You just pretty much want to watch horror movies. And, they win. I mean, Christmas movies fucking blow. Christmas movies suck. You watch horror all year round. You can watch, there's specific movies you watch on Halloween, but you can watch horror. I dare you to put on The Christmas Story in fucking May. Put on The Christmas Story in May. People around you will fucking beat you to death. Same thing with the music. Christmas music. Oh my God. Some of the worst fucking shit that has ever been made. Christmas songs absolutely blow. There's a couple that I like, right? I like the orchestra, right? The Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Is that what it is? Or is it just the Siberian Orchestra? I have no idea. They, I like that shit. Bum-ba-da-ding-ding-da-da-doom. And even that, after I hear it, 18 times in a CVS, it's like, oh, God, please, enough. And it makes me think of Christmas already. It just makes me, I don't want to think about Christmas. I don't want to hear it, There's no real, there's a couple, I'll watch National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, right? I'll watch that one. But even then, it's not fucking Christmas. There's no reason to put it on. There's no reason for you to watch any fucking Christmas anything, right? That stupid claymation that they play every fucking year for the last 80 years with fucking the Drummer Boy and Jack Frost and this fucking... They play it every year. It's the same one every year, right? Frosty the fucking Snowman. It's you can only listen to it and watch that shit then. Thanksgiving, there's no real... Right? I don't think there's no genre for Thanksgiving movies. There's obviously movies that, take place on Thanksgiving, Hallmark and Lifetime and these stupid fucking generic corporate fucking nonsense movies that they make just to keep stupid motherfuckers at home, with their eyeballs peeled and they can show commercials just to give people a sense of tradition. What a tradition. Putting on The Christmas Story 24 hours, right? 4th of July, there's like patriotic movies. I guess you can watch them on the 4th of July. You just watch World War II in color. That's what I do. The 4th of July, I eat mushrooms and I watch World War II in color, and I salute. I do push-ups, and then I go out in the world, and I can't get health care. I can't get mental health care. No one's willing to listen to me. I pretend I'm homeless, and if anyone drops anything that's even half loud, I grab the nearest person next to me and pull them down and go prone with them, and cover their ears, or I jump on it. Right? If someone drops a pan, I jump on it just to make sure that nobody around me gets blown up too. And that's what I do on the 4th. That's actually my favorite holiday. All kidding aside, that is my favorite holiday. For the sole reason of it has the best food and the best weather, in my opinion. Out of all, I'm a summer baby, so I like the summer, and it's just fun. There's a bunch of different shit you can do. There's tradition, but it's a bunch of different things, right? You can go to a lake, you can go to the beach, you can rent a house, you can go on a trip, you can fucking go to a parade, bunch of different options. It's not super boxed in like other holidays. And But really, there's no real movies, I guess, you can watch on the 4th of July. You could watch like 9/11 documentaries or something. I don't know. Pick what you want. Watch The Patriot with Mel Gibson. That's a good one. Okay, watch some Revolutionary War shit. Read a book. I don't know. 4th of July. But Halloween, you could do Halloween you could do Halloween movies the whole time, right? Horror movies. Everyone's about it. I was never big into horror. I watch them here and there. I just saw the first Saw movie. I just watched the first Saw movie just a couple months ago, and it was good, really good. I mean, I can see why it became one of the biggest things ever, right? Just an absolute classic of a movie, and then they just went bananas like they do with everything else. That's halfway successful, and they made 1,000 of them, which is good. That's a good thing. And, Halloween's just fun, man. It wins. It really does. It's fun. And, I forgot to say, this past weekend when I worked on Friday, they were doing a convention. They were doing a big convention, and most conventions are stupid, if we can just get that out there. If you're like a person that goes to conventions, it's a little weird. That's all I'm saying. And I've never been to one, but you just kind of, you're so engulfed in something that you need to sample a bunch of it 1,000 times. I don't know. It's fine. Do it. Okay. I've wanted to go to conventions, festivals. It's similar, right? Very similar. But Christ. But they were doing it was like a fear festival. I don't know, a fear con or something, terror con, and it was all a bunch of like haunted shit. And they had the Annabelle doll there. They had the Annabelle doll, the thing that was supposedly behind the demonic forces that were present in the Conjuring home. The home that's in Rhode Island, home state. The people who live there and continue to live there just had absolute bombardment of people wanted to take pictures. You could sleep there. I don't think they live there anymore. They sold. I don't know what the deal is, but you could sleep there. You could pay to become possessed, right? And it was the Annabelle doll, I guess. That was the thing that had all this dark energy and whatever. People know about it. I'm explaining it, but people know what the fuck it is. And they had it at this fucking convention. And supposedly a bunch of security guards got sick and left. They dipped. They had to leave. They fucking had to go home or whatever. And one of the guys I work with made a funny joke that it's a good way to get out of a shift. Good way to get sent home early. That creepy fucking doll possessed my insides. Now I need to shit. So can I go home, boss? What do you think? But all that stuff's crazy, right? That's another thing that is... Halloween has just been completely... I guess, paired or associated with anything that's supernatural. Like before Halloween was a big holiday, I would think that it was inspired by the supernatural, right? If that original definition that I said at the beginning episode is at all accurate of where people just go out and scare bad spirits, then it was definitely born from that. But I feel like it's its own subdivision of Halloween because it's another thing all year round, right? People are interested in that shit all the time. Me being one of them. I mean, I'm not a psycho, right? Like some people, they want to go sleep in, mental asylums. This is mental asylum, I know. It's right off the highway. Right off the highway. You see it from the highway. It's a fucking dump. But me and 6 of my friends are going to sit in there. We're gonna talk to ghosts. We're going to have a radio. Yeah, we're going to go at 3 in the morning. They say that's when they're biting. They say that's when the ghosts are out there ready to haunt. So we're going to go there. We're going to hang out. There's a bathtub. I'm going to sleep in a bathtub. You know, maybe I'll put a piece of plastic over my face just to see, just to test. You know, a ghost can't wait to kill. Can't wait to bring you to their side. So let's just see. You know what? I'll tape a bag around my head just to see how long I go before I meet these ghosts, which is what you all should do if you're going to go do that shit. I'm all one for exploring abandoned shit, right? I love coming across, like when I go on a hike and I see like a wall that was once there or a foundation that was once there, it, that shit's interesting to me, right? So it's always interesting to see, like an abandoned bunker or an abandoned building, and that stuff's cool. It's fine, right? You can get some cool Instagram pics. You can do drugs. I don't know. Do whatever the fuck you want. But to kind of test that shit is wild. Like, to me, that's another level. Like, recently, the Wednesday clip I put up was with Don Paulin, who, if you listen to that episode, he kind of details some of his experiences with the paranormal shit. And he's like, you can't really close the door on it. Once you learn about it, once you're exposed to it, it's like it's there, And it is very interesting. I mean, it's something is there, right? You can't not believe, right? There is haunted shit. There's haunted shit. There's shit that's unexplainable. Even in the physical world, there's shit that's unexplainable. So you're going to tell me that there's no, in the non-physical, there's no shit that's unexplainable. A lot of the non-physical is unexplainable, right? We just assume that the reason why we're able to walk around is because trees expel a fucking gas that we inhale. This planet has a gas that is good for, suitable for life, right? Suitable for animal and mammal and fucking whatever life to walk around and do whatever the fuck they do. That shit's non-physical. We all just subscribe to it, right? We all just subscribe to science. Science is a fucking thing that we created. You think motherfuckers were sitting around like, we should say this is part of science, and then here's a good word for this, science, and then it was born out of human evolution and innovation, and it's a great fucking thing. It's something that helps us explain the world around us. But do we know that there's a gas around? Like, we could say that we do. We have tools that prove it. Yes, sure. Of course. Of course we do. I'm not trying to go crazy here, but I'm saying that even that is a strange concept. We just subscribe to it because it makes the most sense. We've made it make sense, just like we do with all science. Which is why it's funny when people are like, I believe the science. I believe in the science. The science is the law. I believe in the science. Okay, believe in the science. Science changes, number one. It's not something static. If you believe in science, you should believe in the change that comes along with it. And if it's not changing, then there might be some bullshit. Or it's just a theory that everyone has absolutely accepted, just like a lot of things. And one of them being the fact that we breathe in oxygen and expel carbon dioxide. And the plants bring in the carbon dioxide and they expel the oxygen, and that's how we fucking walk around and live. But I ask, how does that work in this room? How does that? There's no trees in here. There's none of that shit in here. I got a dying bonsai plant in the corner. That's not enough oxygen for me, right? And I know that you're saying this motherfucker's going off the rails. All I'm saying is that there is unexplainable shit. There has to be unexplainable shit in the non-physical world, and if that includes ghosts or spirits or fucking possessions or demons or whatever the fuck, then it's something that we can't ignore. That's why there's a whole line of study. There's TV shows. There's people whose livelihood it is. There's phenomenal books written about it. I mean, there's evidence. There's some evidence that there is some shit that does happen in another realm, if that's the word we can use. And it couples very well with Halloween, but it's like the other, again, I look at it as like a subsection of Halloween. The one part of it is what I've been talking about this whole time, the party, right? That's the one part. Everyone dresses up, they get drunk, they eat candy, they fuck around, whatever. And then there's the other side, the paranormal side, the side that supposedly the whole holiday is created over, if that fucking story's true. And it's also a day that people who rarely would ever care about that kind of thing, they would never even talk about it, now they take an interest up in it, right? Now it's just a part of. They watch Paranormal Activity. They watch the shows where people go in and they fucking whatever it is, searching for ghosts or whatever, and they run with that shit. And the people who already do it, the people whose day job or their hobby or whatever is to go find ghosts and go haunting, now it's a fucking green light. It's huge. It's even bigger. There's an even bigger need for it, and it's interesting. It's another part. It's one of the most diverse holidays. It's one of the holidays where you don't need to get boxed in. No expectations. Do whatever the fuck you want. Right? There's a bunch of shit you can do. Not like the other holidays. New Year's is strictly getting fucked up. Strictly getting fucked up. That's it. You get fucked up. New Year's is the day, even if you don't drink regularly, you don't smoke weed, you don't do whatever, you get fucked up. Valentine's Day, you take the lady out. You go on a date, you go to a movie, right? It's all the same shit. Hopefully you get some coochie at the end. And Thanksgiving and Christmas, you don't need me to go into that. 4th of July, another one that's kind of open in the air. 4th of July, Halloween. I think Halloween is probably the most, there's the most that you can do. I think, from my observation. And that's why I fuck with it. That and the fact that you can be a fucking kid and act a fool. Act a fool or a ghoul and dress up and have fun. Guys, I doubt most of you listen to this on at the midnight drop, but I do love doing cool shit like this for the holiday, for certain holidays. You know, maybe we'll do something interesting for Thanksgiving. Historically, I mean, I do use the holidays as kind of a thing, right? Halloween, I did one with Kevin, I think, a few years ago, 2 years ago. And then 2 years ago on Thanksgiving, I did the paranormal investigating, right? Which I don't know why I thought that was interesting. I had Tom on the show. I did the paranormal investigating. What a stupid fucking thing to say. I had Tom on the show. And there was that. It was kind of a theme thing. It was whatever. And then last year I did the 5 episodes for Christmas. So I don't know. I guess I like doing this shit. But Halloween, big one. And either way, listen to it. When you're walking your fucking kids down the street, you can hear me talk about how strange it is that you're letting your kid do that. And it'll make you feel good. It'll be a Halloween treat for you. As far as dates go, guys, we're doing, what are we doing? The 18th? Oh, no, sorry. The next show is the 11th. It's in Maine. I'm going to Wilton, Maine. There's 150 people that live there, but there's a brewery that I'm going to do a show at. It's 5 hours from Providence, which means it's 6 hours from here. And we're going to try and get a cheap little Airbnb, me and Raph. Raph wants to come up for whatever reason. I thank him for it because he keep me a little company, I guess. It'll be fun. And it's just funny. This is like kind of I'm starting to get introduced to the real shit gigs where you're driving 5 hours, might not even get paid, and, putting wear and tear on the car. My car is at 172,000 miles. I hope it gets me to 200,000 because I plan on doing the road, when I leave, even when I leave Connecticut and I'm doing spots in New York. I want to be able to leave the state, still go up to Maine and Providence, whatever, to get paid doing it, but still be able to do the road. So I'd like to keep this car. You know, I had this weird relationship with my car when I was younger. I used to shit on it all the time. But now, because I spend maybe more time than I did before. You know, when you're a kid and your parents are a little strict, they don't let you smoke weed in the house. You can't even come home high, right? If you're drunk, they don't want you there. You know, you got to drive instead as a child. And but yeah, you live in your car when you're in high school. You want to get out of the house. It's freedom. You drive around. I think now I spend more time. And knowing how crucial it is to have a car for the line of work that I'm pursuing, I really do love the fucking thing, man. I'm gonna be sad when I get rid of it. And my friends that are listening to this are like, that's a big change of heart. They're like, what the fuck are you talking about, Antonio? You've shat on that car forever. But I'm just so fortunate that it's lasted me so fucking long. And you know, and I know it's coming to an end. It might not be though. It might not. I mean, shit. I'm thinking it's going to make 200,000 miles. I mean, I put miles on the motherfucker, but I don't beat on him. And I really do love that motherfucking Impala. Don't let nobody tell you with the cigarette burns and the fucking seats and whatever else. But listen, guys, and the 18th. Sorry, November 18th. I'm doing Revival Brewery again in Providence, Rhode Island. So go ahead and check that out if you want. And that's it, motherfuckers. Have a good one. Happy haunts, and I'll talk to you on Thursday. Peace. Oh, me again. Follow the show, subscribe on the YouTube, buy me a coffee, use the links. Bye-bye.